Hey, hockey fans, welcome to Goal Line Hockey. And we're going to start to wind down on the Season Outlook series today as we take a look at the San Jose Sharks. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe, and let's talk about the San Jose Sharks. So, the season that unfortunately ended in some disappointment for the San Jose Sharks, losing in the conference finals to the St. Louis Blues in 6 games. Tough way to go out for the Sharks. They've had some injuries that riddled them through a lot of the playoffs, but they did get some help at points from officiating and things like that. I'm not going to get into it, but they did have a little bit of help, and unfortunately they still came up a little bit short. Looking at San Jose as a whole, they are a great hockey team. Let's not forget that. Making it to the Final Four is no slouch. It's not like they super underachieved. This is a really good team. It's just so hard to get to the final, and you have a hot team like the St. Louis Blues. They're gonna find a way, and they really did. So unfortunately, the Sharks didn't get as far as they would have liked to. I love how this team plays. They played the new speed game, which I think is pretty interesting. They're really I would say the one successful team. I mean, we've seen Pittsburgh that kind of has that. They've deviated away from that since, which might be part of the problem there in Pittsburgh, kind of losing their identity at points. But nonetheless, speaking of that lack of defensive team, you're seeing that with a guy like Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson. And Erik Karlsson is more than likely probably going to leave San Jose. There are rumors recently that his wife is a little bit homesick, wants to go back home to Ottawa. But Ottawa doesn't seem to want Erik Karlsson back. So I'm also doing a video on Erik Karlsson, possible destinations he may be looking at this summer. So make sure to check out that series as well. But anyway, Karlsson is probably down to Montreal or Ottawa at this point. And, if he does come back to San Jose, last night he went to the Golden State Warriors Raptors game, so who knows? What's going to happen with Joe Pavelski? We know Joe Thornton as well is going to be in the same conversation because they're both on expiring deals and they're both getting pretty old. How much more do they really have in the tank? And more specifically, Joe Thornton, I'm a little bit concerned. This is the second playoffs now where he's missed time because of injury. I wonder if DeBoer looks at him maybe as a little bit of a liability. So that's something to keep an eye on. And now with Joe Pavelski, with what happened to him in the first round, is he going to come back? Is he going to want to say, listen, I know too much about these concussions and things like that. I'm not even going to bother. I've had a great career, didn't win the cup, but that's sometimes how it works. I'm gonna let it go. So some big decisions that those guys have to make this summer. Martin Jones had issues, and I feel like I say this seemingly every time the Sharks get pretty deep. He got them to the conference finals, but at certain points throughout the playoffs he looked really strong, and other times where he looked kind of poor, kind of weak. And you could say that in the first round especially. He was so on and off in that first series. So Jekyll and Hyde against a really good Vegas team, and they almost lost that series. They were down 3-2 heading into Game 6 in that series. They were able to come back, luckily, because he got hot. But if he doesn't make the saves, that series is done, and San Jose's out in the first round. And that would be a real disappointment for Shark fans and ownership alike. You have to wonder what they're feeling with the goaltending because I don't know how they feel about Aaron Dell. He had an off season this year as well, so might be some changes there in terms of in between the pipes for the San Jose Sharks this summer. Maybe not moving a guy like Jones, but I wonder if to solidify the backup role as kind of a 1A, 1B with Martin Jones. Definitely could be a possibility. The problem is the cap space, and that's what we're going to get into next. This team is going to be really cap constrained this summer. Not totally sure what they're going to do. They have a lot of cap right now, but that's going to all get eaten up by all these young guys they have to sign. And if they bring in guys like Pavelski and Thornton back into the fold. So it's going to be an interesting summer for San Jose. Doug Wilson's probably going to try and keep this team together and just keep trying to find ways to win. So, like I said, disappointing for this team. They were pretty close, and they were the favorite from at least the first round to the conference final. They were the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, but they came up short once again. So, thank you for watching us here at Goal Line Hockey. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. And thank you for watching us here at Goal Line Hockey, and have a good day.